Collage is a really incredible way to force yourself to simplify a motif. In this case, on the upper left-hand side of what you're seeing on your screen, it's a monochromatic collage of a landscape motif. So this collage has 5 tonal notes, a darkest dark, a lightest light, and 3 shades of gray in between. Torn paper means that you can't futz about the tiniest details, and you just have to be super direct and super immediate as you put things down, making a really bold statement. Why create a monochrome? Well, a monochrome is going to help tell you what your darkest darks and lightest lights are, and then the next step is to move into color. And to have this monochromatic version, this simplified black and white version of the landscape, I think makes it a lot easier to move into color. And then that color collage could be the end of your process, or that color collage could end up turning into a painting. So below the black and white collage, you can see the color version here. And if I hadn't gone in with the black and white and said, you know, this tree is super dark, then I probably wouldn't have been able to sort of remember. I would have been seduced by this purple. I wouldn't have necessarily remembered that that purple has to be a super dark value. And conversely, that these yellows have to correspond to these light areas of the black and white collage. So value is basically the lightness or darkness of a color. So just to review that a little bit, if we look at this color chart, you'll see there's a tonal gradient here of 7 parts. These are really useful to practice so that you can push your darkest darks as dark as they should go, keep your lightest lights very light, so that the midtones can have some variation in between. So why is this important, and why would this be important to compare to these colors? Well, the reality is if I take this blue color swatch and I bring it up to these grays, I really want to discern, just like if I was looking at this collage and I said, you know, this swatch of green, how dark is that dark relating to my grayscale? I could take this blue and I could bring it up and I could say, well, against that, it's much too dark. But against this, if I squint my eyes down, they almost blend together. So this blue is on the darker end of this value scale, and that's good to know when I start to transition to painting. If I look at this yellow, on the other hand, yellow, if I brought that over here, you can see obviously it's much, much lighter in value than what the blue was. And I could nudge it all the way over towards my lights. And actually, I think that it probably would be somewhere between the white and my lightest gray that I have established here in value. So these are important things to recognize as you move into painting. And I often, when I'm when I'm working outdoors, and then maybe when I'm transitioning into painting in the studio, it's hard to do collage outside. So what I'll often do is I'll do a tonal version outside, you know, possibly in a fountain pen, in this case, shades of blue, just establishing very quickly what my lights and darks are. And then immediately afterwards, I'll do a color version. And the color version on a good day will sort of have a dialogue with the tonal version and help me discern the variety and the drama that is inherent to what I'm looking at. So this next step, often in shifting from monochrome to color, it's really important to ask yourself, as you're mixing your colors, how dark is this green? How light is this green? In order to really ensure that you have the drama that you need to make a successful painting.